Welcome to Success and Strategy, Real Talk with heart-centered entrepreneurs. I am your host and strategic bookkeeper and empowering tax accountant, Amanda Stickle. And today you will hear inspiring stories and insights from Staci Manley, and how she is leading her business with her heart and strategy. So thank you so much for joining me, Staci. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself and your business and kind of what you've got going on?
Well, yeah, of course. But firstly, I want to say thank you for having me on here. And hello, everybody who seems to catch this on the fly or intentionally. Great to non-officially meet you. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a mother of three kiddos. One of my children are living beyond this world, happy, doing crazy things up there, I'm sure. And my other two are still rocking it here on Earth with me, doing all of our stuff that we need to do here. Let's see, what else can I share about me? Buddy, I have had a long journey in career and shifts and changes. However, they all interestingly have come together as like a whole, which has been really cool to watch and journey through. Things that I didn't expect to come together. And I feel like this is just the beauty of life and business unfolding in a lot of ways. And let's see, what else can I share? I'm in New Mexico. I'm like, I am in New Mexico. It is interesting here. I have not left New Mexico, and I think I just like have to connect with New Mexico more. Maybe there's a
Mm,
secret message that needs to come forward. Maybe aliens are waiting to beam me up. I'm just like, take me. I'm here. I'm from Roswell.
maybe.
I was born alien. Just take me back. Okay, whatever you got to do. But so let me know where y'all are from. Amanda, I think you're New York based.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I feel like
You
when I
like
see,
different worlds.
yeah, I was about to say when I see pictures of New York, I'm like, that's a whole different vibe up there. We're
Hmm.
like desert. Like, fortunately, we're at least by mountains now. We're a little bit central northern, so different atmospheres and environments to play in, which has been really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I see you do a lot in nature, and I think that helps, and it's very much aligned. So I how long has it been since we've met, like 4 or 5 years ago, I think, because it was right before COVID. And you
Mhm.
were the first, I don't know if you have the same title, if I'm completely screwing that up, but you were the first like intuitive life coach that I worked with. And literally it was a game changer for me. Like you really helped me guide inside of myself and really figure out the ins and outs of what's going on and how I can connect more with myself to help in life in general, but also in my business. And I think that's been amazing. And that's why I'm so grateful to have you in my life still today, but also here today talking about life and business and how it really does go together.
It really truly does. And especially, I feel like if you're a heart-centered person who is very like mission based, like you know that you've got some stuff to do, right? You know you've
Yeah.
got stuff to do. That's like a whole nother world. It's a whole different way of being and doing business. It really is. And not a lot of people get it. Um, I feel like even some people struggle with it. And the funny thing is people who are meant to be and how do I want to say it? It's not like functioning, but performing
Mm.
and really being able to. It does take a lot of inner attunement, and then realizing how that aligns and calibrates to the outside attunement, right? So that's always fun to go through. And I find that people that haven't done that yet, they're like, well, I got to run a business. Well, I need strategy, I need structure, I need all these things. And then they start to put it together and they start to do the things and they're like, why isn't it working? It's because usually there's a misalignment in some way, because the tools and the strategy I find is, even for myself, let me just talk for myself especially,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody's just a little different here and there. But even for some of my own clients who are career advancing, enhancing, who are starting up their own businesses even, or shifting from one thing to another. It's, you got the tools in your pocket, you got the strategies in your pocket, you have like one thing, trying one other thing may or may not actually make a difference for you. Whenever you've got to figure out your own way energetically to do those things, because that's when it starts to match up, and then that's when it starts to explode. um so I feel that, for me especially, I have to sit with myself a lot.
Hmm.
I've got to sit with myself a lot, and I've got to sit with spirit a lot. Yes, I'm still in the psychic, spiritual, intuitive, instinctual realm. So I utilize all of those things when I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to create now? Because sometimes the energy is just like so fire, so fast. And then you create and you create this thing and it's done and it's great. And then you may feel that the energy changes and you're like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. Oh, well, like, am I supposed to keep going in this? Or am I supposed to create something completely new? Is it that I need to make this bigger? There's all kinds of things that you can ask and consider and really feel into, to see really what direction or route you're supposed to go. And I feel like you'll know what's meant to be at the time. A lot of people like to put stress on and force of making something work that's just not meant to be now. I know. And they're like, why the fuck am I not making money in this? Well, because like it's not right. The energetics aren't there right now. Maybe there's something else that you need to do to embody the person that you're meant to be, to lead at this level, or to create this huge thing. Like you've got to be able to embody first and hold that space for those
Yeah.
people to come in and to really attain the work and the enhancement that they need in that space.
Yeah. And I think I didn't ask the question direct, but I feel like that's how I feel like success would look like for both of us, like that alignment, that energetically feeling right and good, and yeah, everything's just aligned internally, which then affects the external world.
Yeah.
Would you have anything else to add to what success looks like to you, or was that kind of like that kind of was the answer?
Yeah, I think that that pretty much wraps up the answer, because a lot of people, they say, well, successful business, big
Mhm.
money and all of these things. And I think, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that helps.
yeah. You don't want to go into debt, having a business, but for me, it's just like coming back home to yourself, because whenever you're home with yourself, you're just that master creator. There
Mhm.
ain't shit that's going to get in your way. There really isn't. Whenever you trust yourself, whenever you have that, when you're able to navigate the alignment, when you're able to fill out the energetics and be able to play, like creation really is just playing in that instinct and that intuition, in the energy of literally everything. There have been times where I literally have created a $10,000 program that was meant for one person.
Yeah.
And I booked it. You know what I mean? But there's just things like that where it's like, okay, spirit's leading me to like they're guiding me to create this huge thing. And it was huge. It was a huge thing. But it was meant for one person. I see a lot of people who, they close things down if they don't get more than 20 people into
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here judging people. Like if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. That's the way that you work things. But for me, I'm like, damn, if I create a 10 grand program, book one person in, it was meant for that person. Like that was a success. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So there's a lot of different ways maybe that I look at things and perceive things and feel into things. And I don't mind creating something that's really meant to be, even if it's just for one person,
Yeah.
you know?
I like what you said, and hopefully I'm not screwing this up too much, but coming it's success is when you feel home in yourself. right? Is that what you
Mhm.
said? I
Yeah.
think that that's so powerful to me because that's I think what we should be thriving for is to feel that comfort and that hominess and the confidence and the love in ourselves, and then we can then not exclude, exude out to other people that that feeling and being involved in our atmosphere. I
Mhm.
think that's I love how you simplified that.
Thank you.
um, so and that might be part of the next question too. But I'm really interested to hear what you have to say with what do you feel made the most significant impact in getting your business where it is today or your life? Like what do you think's made the most significant impact?
The most.
Yeah, I know it's a tough one.
It really is. The most is being completely unafraid.
Yes.
Truly and sincerely just not being scared. I feel like we get so wrapped up in our overthinking, in our fears, and all of these things that it really hinders our ability to create what is meant to be. And that limits us. God, it doesn't only limit us, it kills us. It really
Mhm,
does. Like
mhm.
we just I don't feel like you're living if you're living in fear, if you're living in doubts and all of these things, you're just not you're not being the masterful person that you could be. And
Yeah,
that takes work to get out of your system. It really does. It takes work to get out of your system and discernment. I feel like discernment is important when it comes to deciding the people that we work with. Like whether it be clients or collaboratively, whether it be with coaches, discernment is so important. And when we have where are you trying to lead me to with this? Like, I'm like, what?
there's
It's
something
interesting.
there.
Yeah, there's something there. I'm like, all right, why don't you just tell me? Maybe it's not meant for me to know, but discernment is important. And I feel like I'm being really told to tell you guys like discernment with people. If you're working with someone or you even want to work with someone who may not completely understand where you're at or what you're trying to get to or how you work,
Mhm.
then that's when to use the discernment
Yeah,
because it
I
can
think
really throw you off otherwise.
yes, yes, it can definitely throw you off. It's kind of going back to that you don't have to say yes to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Really being picky. I don't know about picky is the right word, but really knowing yourself, I think, and knowing your business and how you work, and then and the direction that you want to go, and really feeling out the people that you want to work with. Because if you say yes to the wrong person, it can throw you off and it'll make you feel funky and it might push you back a couple steps. That's not meaning that you're failing or anything, but it's kind of like a you took the long way around instead of going
Exactly.
direct to the direct path. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
something to add on to that, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go
real
for it.
fast. What I was being told is like you don't have to sign on with someone for a tool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this is the interesting part. I'm actually really being guided to tell you to look internally and ask yourself what you're supposed to do because you already have the answer inside you. You already know what you are supposed to do. Why are you scared of taking that action? Okay.
Yeah.
So whoever that message is for, that's for you. Love you. I hope you look
That's
internally.
for everybody, really. Like if you really think about it, I think everybody, not maybe not everybody, but I think most I'm gonna say most women in business, we feel, and I may be generalizing, but I feel like we think we need somebody else's approval
Mm,
to feel like we are successful or on the right path instead of just trusting. ourselves. I think there's power in having um support in like a friend that you can kind of express everything to that's going on in your head, but not necessarily looking for approval.
Uh-huh.
I think there's a line there, but yeah, I think that's what a lot of people need to hear is that you know if you just sit with yourself, going back to what you said at the beginning, if you just sit with yourself and kind of get rid of all the outside noise and then trust yourself and then go for it. As scary as it may be, like it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's obviously there's something there that your body and your mind and your spirits are telling you to go forward in. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you did it and you might have like, helped one person that needed you to go that direction. And I think
Mhm.
that's enough.
Right? Isn't
Yeah.
it enough? Isn't it enough to make one person's life so magnificently different
Mhm.
just by showing up and doing that one thing, you know?
Yeah.
And thank you all for coming to Amanda and my coaching session for today. I hope y'all are
What we're here
learning.
for.
Hope you're learning many great things on our talk today. Yeah.
So I want to switch directions slightly since I am in the finance world, and I think this is an important question to ask because I think again this is something that a lot of specifically women kind of struggle with feeling a certain way about.
Mhm.
But how impactful has understanding your finances been in your business?
Not only impactful, but super important. Super
Mhm.
important. There is a need for responsibility for your money.
Yeah,
You have to take responsibility. You got to love that shit. You really do. You got to take care of it. You got to nurture it. You got to put it where it belongs and where it needs to go. You got to direct it, right?
yeah,
So that for me is like my approach and understanding like it's not just money, it's nurturing, it's direction, like I feel like the flow of the river just moving it, you know what I mean? So for me, it's been impactful, important, intentional, all the
yeah.
eyes. And it's been important for my business growth because oh gosh, I'm gonna say this because it's something that just irks me for one, but I understand it. And it kind of lights a little fire up under my ass when I think about it. When I think about these coaches, business money coaches that are like, if you're not making money, you're in a business, it's a hobby. And
There's
for me, I'm
multiple
like,
things that go into the hobbies. Go
yeah,
into the IRS classification. There's nothing. There's profit motive, but doesn't say you have to be making money.
yeah. So there's some funky energy around that
Yeah,
that I don't exactly appreciate or like, but it's something that I'm like, I don't really want to go into debt in my business for one, but not only that, because that's kind of like lack and fear, kind of, or like not taking more consideration and carefulness, two C's. I'm gonna start making these word lists, like not taking careful consideration of your money, and it can put you in a bad spot. You don't want to be in a bad spot. You want your business to be this open, beautiful, abundant thing because the more flow that you have inward, the more flow you can have outward. Like, what huge things can you do to whenever you have that abundance coming in?
and
Like, what can you give?
I think too. I think what I'm picking up from what you're saying, and it may be off from what you're saying, but intuitively, everybody has different needs. So not everybody needs to have um, a six-figure month.
Yeah.
Going to talking about coaches and no, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I think it's hard to see people promoting and sharing, oh, you need to be making XYZ every month and I can get you there. I think you need to kind of stop and kind of go back again and sit with yourself and realize what do you actually need? Do you need that? Do you want that? Why do you want that? And
Hmm.
then it's a process and steps. I think social media kind of pulls us into all these fanciful things, and it makes us feel like we're not doing good enough because we're not doing what this person is doing. Um, but I think taking a step back and realizing that you don't need to be doing what they're doing. If you are happy and you feel abundant in what you do have and what you are doing, then that's again enough. You don't have to be somebody else to be enough.
Right. That's a really important thing. What
Mhm.
And I feel like just retouching on what you said, gratitude for what you already have, what's
Yeah.
already covered, what like gives you joy in this world is enough, right?
Mhm.
It sincerely is. And something that I've also heard time and time again, probably over the past few months, is how can you have more or attain more, if you're not already grateful for what you have? Because
Exactly.
it's an energetics thing. It really is. You have to consider where lack energy is leaking into to your to your system here. Let's just call it a system, an energetic system. Okay. You want your energetic system to be running as smoothly as your business system. All right. Because I really feel like without the energetic system, your business system will have leakages too. It may not work, it may not flow as easily as you wanted to. Are you manipulating? Okay, so these are like signs, right? Are you manipulating things to try to make money? Are you feeling like you need to control money or control your programs or the people who come into your programs? These are all really big red flag signs of you need to sit with yourself and get back into a better energetic state, um, so that you aren't in that scared feeling. Like I said, you gotta don't be scared. Like, what are you scared of? The more scared you are, the less that's probably going to happen because you have that closing up energy rather than the receiving energy. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yes. I have
So
done and tried that, and I will tell you sincerely, it has worked magic for me. Yes.
just go for it.
Just go for it. Fuck it. Don't be scared. Okay.
Exactly. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody is just kind of guessing and seeing what works and how it makes them feel. So if you're unsure, I guarantee people that you're trying to talk to are unsure as well about what they're doing. So to kind of sum it all up, if you could give one piece of advice, financial or business strategy or whatever, what would you say to other heart-centered entrepreneurs looking to grow their business?
Hmm. I would say feel into your body more than you think.
Mm, and that's
Okay.
hard. It's easy, but not simple. Is that the phrase?
It's
Not
easy,
it's
but not
easy, but
simple.
not simple, or is it simple but not easy?
We're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it seems like a simple, easy concept, but it's a lot of hard work.
Yes, exactly. It really is hard work. And if you're anything like me, I have failed at things because of my overthinking. And then when I take the overthinking away, it goes like no joke, no joke. I will tell you, oh, I have been told to sit and write out my money and write out how much I'm going to charge for this program, for that thing, for that. And I will have everything listed out. And I doesn't fucking work. It
No.
doesn't work for me. But you know what works for me, right? Is I've learned, I've experimented with my own way, right? Taking the tools, things that I've learned, and putting them in a nice little strategy for my own self. Okay. So if you're looking for business strategy, maybe this is for you. But what I love, and I had to look at like where does my fire energy come out? Like what happens when I do this? Well, what happens when I get on a business strategy call or a business call? Well, huh, like I'm one-on-one with people. I don't give a shit. I'm going to give them everything that I possibly can within 30 minutes to help them skyrocket whatever it is that they need. I'll give them insights. I give it all within that 30 minutes because I'm not scared to lose anything. And then I make sales on the call. So, you know what I mean? I book the clients
Exactly.
on the
Yeah.
call. So I'm like, some things work for you, some things don't. You got to figure out where your energy comes through. And like literally, I will not even think of a price. I won't think of a price. I'll just be like, you know what? And it's so fluid for me. I'm not trying to jam people into my 3 month like program or whatever if they don't fucking need it. But this is what I got. This is what I created. So I'm gonna file people in like a belt or whatever you call it.
Conveyor belt. Is that what you're
Conveyor
saying?
belt. I was like construction, conceiving, the conveyor belt. Okay. I stopped doing that. I really did because things changed and things changed in my business and the way I started doing things was different. And it's all so fluid that I can legitimately sit there on a call and create a custom plan for somebody and not even think of a price or have to do the calculations. I'm like, this is what it is for you. You know, that's where that intuitiveness, that and like the instinctual, that everything business logic and creative and intuitive comes into play in that moment. And I give
Mhm.
people what they need for a price that's respectful to everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So don't be scared to sit and test things out for yourself. Understand where that fire energy comes in, where you have no attachment. I think that's the most important thing. Do the things that have less to no attachment and do that. Do that and see where it takes you.
Yeah. That's good advice. And I have to say, even before we knew when we first met, we obviously didn't know each other. And it was through a random post that you made and you were saying all the things that I needed. And I remember getting on a call with you and I wasn't in the best financial place then. And I never felt pressured by you. And I think I remember you even saying, like, don't feel like you have to do this. And I'm like, I have to do this. I know what I need and it's you. So I
Oh,
do appreciate that. I remember the experience because it was definitely a pivotal point for me. And I think that's important to find people who you just connect with and it feels right and it makes sense. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So where can people follow you and connect with you to get your magicalness and loving and all the things?
yes, come into my Facebook space. This is where I like to hang out. I also have a psychic circle if you wanted to join me in there. It is for women only, for bold ass spirited women who are business, who love, who have passion, who have all of these things just like swirling around them. I love it. I love the energy. And so those are the two places. Now my psychic circle is a paid option. It's only $10 a month now. Okay. Now. But if you want to hang out with me just to be in my space, to see what I'm up to, hear what I'm talking about, you can also just follow me, friend me on Facebook.
Yep. And I'll put the links in the bio too, so everybody can just click and find you and it'll be easy peasy.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining me. It was a great conversation. It's always a great conversation, but it was extra special because it's a new project of mine, but it's great having you in my space. And thank you for sharing all of your insights and your advice and all the things. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's always a blessing to be in your space, Amanda. So thank you for having me.
And thank you guys all for joining and watching. I hope you found this helpful and inspiring. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below. If anybody's interested in being my next guest, feel free to send me a message. I'd love to have you. So I can't wait to have you guys for next time. So tune in for more quick insights and deeper dives that we go into with other heart-centered empowering entrepreneurs. Again, thank you guys so much for joining and see you next time.